seats, please. Well, most of you are seated. Good job. All right. Next up on this very important Pink Wednesday, we have the queen of hip hop, Nicki Minaj. Last year's December cover star, which I have to say personally is one of my favorite covers in recent memory. It is so beautiful. And Minaj is just coming off her Pink Friday 2 tour, which I didn't realize until recently is the highest grossing rap tour by a woman in history. So today, she joins Eva Chen in conversation about breaking records and making them. Nicki Minaj, everyone.
Thank you. Hi, guys. All right, I feel like the queen needs a proper processional, so can we give her another round of applause? Let's do this.
Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm going to hold this bag for you.
Thank you.
I might keep it. It's real cute. You need a hand?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. You're sitting here, unless you prefer to sit here. You prefer? Okay, you have a side?
I wouldn't say that.
All right. I like that.
My nails are coming off.
All right, well, I see a lot of cameras out. I approve of this as someone who works for Instagram. Get the content. Get that vertical content for stories, ma'am. I see you holding the phone sideways. I don't know what you're doing. So you guys, we are so blessed to have Miss Nicki Minaj here.
I'm so blessed to be here. And by the way, thank you guys for being here, if any of you came for me specifically. And if you haven't, I want to just say thank you to Anna, Vogue, everyone, Sergio, and you guys. Let's have some fun.
We're gonna have fun. So Chloe did a great introduction. She shared some of the most amazing stats, and I just want to read them out again because I want to take a moment to acknowledge how impressive they are truly. In 8 months, your world tour visited 16 countries, 26 states, sold out 50 shows. You had almost 800,000 fans, Barbs, and you are the highest-selling female rap tour of all time, period.
Thank you, yes.
And it was the #1 highest-selling female rap tour of all time, period, again. And the #4 highest-selling rap tour of all time, male or female. So I wanted to start by asking, in a year where, well, in a few weeks, hopefully, the future could be female, how does it feel to be the highest-selling female rap tour of all time? How does that feel to you?
Well, I feel very grateful. I have a very close-knit relationship with my fans, and they went very hard for me. So I feel a lot of gratitude. Every night at the shows, it was a different show completely every night because, you know, I do different songs, but just their emotion and passion, it just always does something to me as well. So we made these amazing memories. So it's more, to me, I mean, of course, I wasn't expecting to have the highest anything, to be honest. I didn't even know that I was in the running. But even if I didn't have that, I would have been still so grateful because the time that I spent with the Barbs at these shows, it was healing for me as well. They said it was healing for them, their inner child, but it was healing for something within me as well.
That's a great segue, actually, because you and I actually met when I worked at Teen Vogue many years ago. I still love teens, and I don't know if we can pull up the picture of when we met 12 years ago. This is going to be a cringe moment for me, not for you, for me. Let's see if they can advance, because there's a lot to unpack in this picture. Not sure if the slideshow's coming up. It's moving very slowly, but it'll come up. I want to take you back to when you were a teen. What would teenage Nicki think of yourself?
Well, she would love all of this. Like, she would be so proud.
Oh, there's the picture. Guys.
But you look so cute. You were doing like a little bar pose.
The concept of the story is that you were giving me a makeover. This is 12 years ago. My stomach is out. I don't know.
I did a Barb makeover for her. And she, even in her face, she embodied the whole vibe of Barb's. So, yeah.
Yes, I also had a bowl cut. I just want to pause for a moment to acknowledge the hair. We're not going to go back there. We're not going back. But let's go back to your teenage self. Like, what would teenage Nicki think about yourself? I know you went to LaGuardia. You studied drama.
Yes.
How did that work out for you?
Well, I think I was very disappointed that I didn't become a big, huge, famous actress. And I wanted to become this big, famous actress within 2 years of graduating high school. So I told everybody in my school, by the time I'm 19, I'm going to be the new Hallie and Jada, because I was obsessed with both of them. Well, I was really obsessed with Jada. But it didn't happen. I realized that when you want to be an actor, you have to get up really early in the morning and go on these things called casting calls. And at that time, I went on a few. A lot of agents were actually interested in me, which was good. Mm-hmm. But I made a decision. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do all of this yet. So I said, like how a lot of people say, I'm going to take a year to not go to college and just live life. I said that kind of like to myself. Like, instead of pursuing my acting, I'm going to go and get a job. Mm-hmm. I went and became a waitress. And all of the acting stuff kind of went out of the window. Because it takes a lot of commitment. That's why when I meet actresses and actors, I always pull them aside, like I did Margot Robbie when we were at the Barbie premiere. Mm-hmm. And I pulled her aside and I was like, I'm really proud of you, and I don't want you to think I'm just saying this like how everyone else says it. I was like, I know how much this takes to be an actress and to be doing these huge lead roles. But anyway, so after waitressing, I started focusing more on music, because with music, you can go to the studio late at night, you can work in the day, and you can do music at night. So it was easier for me to juggle both of those things, and I loved music. So I put acting on the back burner, focused on music, got fired from every job that I ever had. I was doing waitressing, and I was a customer service rep, and I was an office manager, and I would always get fired.
What was the reason? What did they say in the exit interview? Don't hold back words.
Okay. Well, one of the big ones was as a waitress. A lot of times people would come and they wouldn't like leave a big tip, and that's rude. But it's not even. It was so that day. I guess I was just a little bit frustrated because this lady came in with her boyfriend, I guess, and they were being like, I don't know, I guess annoying. So, but they needed my pen to sign the credit card slip. And I knew they weren't going to leave me a tip, so I didn't even care. But I went back to the table, and not only did they not leave me a tip, but they took my pen. So that set me off for some reason that day. It was just one of those days, and I knew I should not have done this. I still can't believe I did it. I really needed the job, but I ran outside into the parking lot, and they were just about to leave. As fate would have it, had I come out 5 seconds later, I would have still had my job. But I caught them right as they were about to turn out of the parking lot structure in the Bronx Red Lobster. Is it Co-op City? Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I banged on the window, "Give me my pen!" And I literally banged on their window hard enough to break it. So they were like, "What the heck?" And they got out of the car, both of them. And I went back in the restaurant, and they told on me, and I got fired.
I have so many questions, guys. Was it a nice pen?
It wasn't a nice pen. It was not an unusual pen in any way. It was just the principle. It was like, you didn't tip. I gave you amazing service. Sometimes people are rude because they know they don't have enough money to tip, but they want to go out to a restaurant anyway. And I guess, you have the right to not tip or not leave a big tip. But don't take my pen.
There we go.
So, that was that. And they marched in the restaurant. And they went straight to my manager and told on me. And that was it. That was the last time I got fired, though. At that time, I think I had been fired from restaurant maybe 5 or 6 times already. I figured this was enough. I went on to start getting fired from other places, like call centers and stuff.
Okay, all right. Well, resilience,
Yes.
grit.
And I can type.
How fast can you type?
Wow, I haven't been asked that in so long. I would say maybe 30. Is that bad or good? 30 words per minute or 20? I don't know. I haven't done that in a while, but I know all of my key. I know where everything goes. Like
I'm going to be honest. That's okay. That's okay.
Thanks.
But it's hard with nails to type.
Oh no,
also.
I didn't have nails at that time when I was doing that.
Okay.
We had to type very fast because once the person gets off the phone, you already have to have all the data in the system. So while you're talking, you're kind of like, oh, okay, thank you. You have to type everything before they get off the phone, because if they hang up the phone and you didn't put the data in, someone calls right back in, and you have to take that call. Now, when that customer calls back, their information isn't updated, and they're going to start yelling and screaming. So, yeah.
I was not expecting, by the way, this conversation to go this direction.
It's a good direction.
We talked about words per minute. We talked about Red Lobster. We talked about pen theft. I know what I'm sending you for Christmas, a box of pens. It's happening. So on Instagram, you have over 220 million followers, which is a lot of people, guys. As someone who works at Instagram, let me tell you, that's a lot. And 500,000 people on your broadcast channel alone. I think this is reflective of the passion that your fans have for you. Can you talk a little bit about fan culture? When did you first realize that your fan culture would be a true movement?
That's a great question. I think before I signed and actually had a record deal, my fans were making a moment for themselves on Twitter. I had already given them a name. In fact, do you know that all these artists that give their fans names now? Mm-hmm. Like when I started calling my fans the Barbs, there were no rappers naming their fans. Mm-hmm. There were only 2 people at that time, and I don't know which came first. I know Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. They had Beliebers and Monsters. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was it. Now, every single human being that becomes an artist gives their fans a name. Even artists in other countries, I didn't even know that. Like some of the African artists that I love, when I would look into them, they would have names for their fan base. And I was like, whoa, yeah. So I didn't think it was something that would spread to the hip-hop community at all. But it doesn't matter, because the Barbs are still superior. They are different because what they do is they do it with passion. If you do anything, it has to be rooted in love. Mm-hmm. So sometimes people do things and it's rooted in revenge or vengeance. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't take off. It does something for a moment, but that's that. But because the Barbs and I we really love each other, and also because they actually like my music, which people forget now too, that music is what's being sold. So if you do everything else right and you don't know how to make music or write a great song, it doesn't matter how big your butt is. It doesn't matter what brands you wear. In the root of everything has to be the talent and the passion. Understanding what you do and why. If you're only doing it to compete, it's going to come and go. Because the universe doesn't honor that. It honors that passion that you've always had inside of you, that you know that you're put here to do something. And you do it with all of yourself. You love doing it, that thing. Like music always seemed to be my rescue, my place, my go-to place, I came from another country, Trinidad, and when we came to New York, it was scary being an immigrant and speaking differently. And back then, you know how kids are. They would definitely tease you if you have an accent and stuff like that, or what you eat and all that stuff. Like when I went to my first school trip, my mother didn't know you were supposed to buy like a hero from the corner store to go to the trip. So she sent me with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and all the kids laughed.
Oh. You can't even do peanut butter in school trips anymore. It has to be sun butter.
Really?
Like because of peanut allergies.
Oh.
I know this because I packed for a field trip. Now I'm paranoid I didn't get her, you know, a sandwich from the corner store. Maybe my kid's a social pariah.
Nice.
I should have done that.
Nice. But yeah, so we didn't know anything about American